The topic of my talk today is launch a startup with code-free tools. And as I talked to Philip earlier, when I think about this topic, what to talk here, there are so many topics. And just for myself, I don't really have a lot of startup experience. And my only experience is just put up some listing on eBay or Amazon and sell something I don't use or I purchased, but it's not fit for me. So I sold them on Amazon or eBay. That's my only experience. But for my previous advisor in chemical engineering and some of my friends and my schoolmates, my colleague and my student, they all have startup. So sometimes I think maybe I should start my own startup one day. I don't know. And I don't even know how to start. And although I'm teaching Python and business analytics here at our school, setting up some startup is like very, very hard job for me, I think, because I don't know where to start. So when I talk with my husband, who works for DoorDash, and he's in Silicon Valley, so he works there for several years, many years, and he saw many startups. And when he works for DoorDash is one of the startups years ago. So I think he told me nowadays the code-free tools are very popular. So you don't need to even learn how to code or how to use some very complex system. You only need to drag and drop, and you can create your own website, and you can manage your own business. You don't need to hire anyone even when you start. You don't need to hire anyone. You don't. So I think this is a good topic. So for myself, I'm not a very good expert in this area, but I hope you can learn something from my talk today. First, this is the outline of my talk today, and I want to introduce to you some example of the startup from classroom. So then after that, I want to introduce some code-free tools that you can use to set up your own business. Okay, and the first one I want to talk about is DoorDash. So a few years ago, DoorDash was set up by 4 students. So they are classmates from Stanford. And this idea actually comes from one of their projects. And it's in one of the class related to entrepreneurship. And they started the topic, and when they first started the project, they just want to help some small business. So they went to some small business around Stanford, and when they go to some cake shop selling some macarons or some cakes and some drinks, some boba teas, and they just ask them, do they need any help? So the shop's manager said they only need someone to send the food because they got a lot of order, but they don't have delivery. So that gave the team, the 4 classmates, some ideas to start up this project to helping restaurant sending out orders. So I know many years ago, and some shops, some restaurants, they do have their own delivery team, or some business do have their delivery team, such as Domino Pizza. But DoorDash or maybe Uber Eats or Grubhub, they're actually helping these small business, small restaurant, and try to give them more orders so they can make more revenues. And they just pay DoorDash for probably 20% of the revenue or 10% of the revenue to ask DoorDash to help to deliver the food. And for DoorDash, this business is actually very complex. So for us, we just browse the website or browse the web apps on our cell phone, and we just pick the restaurant and pick the food, and then we don't need to do anything. We just wait at home, waiting for the food. But for DoorDash, they actually need to do a lot of things. So they first need the restaurant to set up what kind of food they offer and what kind of price they can offer. And also the price, oh, do I need to, oh, okay. Just look at the chat. Okay, so for DoorDash, they need restaurant to put in information about their menus, about their hours, about the price, and they also need some dashers to join in their platform to deliver the food. And the dashers need to go to the restaurant to pick up the food and then deliver it to me or to any of you who ordered the food. So the dasher cannot make any mistakes, because at certain restaurants, they have so many orders. And when the dasher deliver it, they need to use GPS to find the location. And if there's a mistake, there is a mess, right? So for this company, there's a lot of things they need to consider. But when they first start, they actually have a very simple business model, because when they first start, they don't have anyone who can deliver the food. Of course, they don't have many restaurants, but they don't have anyone who can deliver. So the four founders, they deliver the food by themselves. And they only use some tools to build up the website. So the people who want to order the food, they can just see the menu and make a phone call. So they take the phone call, and the founders goes to the restaurant and pays for the food by their own credit card, and they only charge them $6 to deliver the food. It's a flat rate. And later, they have people who can deliver. They hire someone to deliver. However, they cannot track where is the deliver person or dasher. So they actually using the function called Find My Friend on iPhone to track the drivers, to track the dashers, to see where they are during the food delivery process. So they actually start from a very scrappy business model. Then later, this idea grows to $1 million business. And last year, they just goes IPO. And a lot of people who previously worked for big tech companies, they now want to join this company. And for myself, during this pandemic, my life depends on these food delivery system platforms, DoorDash, Uber Eats, or Grubhub, or Postmates, because I don't have time to cook. And I just got my first baby, and he's just 1 year old. So in the past 1 year, during the pandemic, I order food every day. Even for today, I have my food, and I just saw it was delivered. Okay, so this is a story from DoorDash, and I think this is a good example of the business come out from the classroom. And the next one I want to talk about is a company, a small company, very small company called Drone Nvap. And this is actually one of the startup from USC, not far from us. And they built a platform that can have the pilot for drones and the people who requires the service, the drone service, to get them together. It's just like Uber, who connect the drivers and the people who need a ride, or just like Airbnb, who connect the people who has empty rooms, empty homes, and the people who need this kind of service. Okay, so I think this is a very good idea. And I think I cannot just only use the PowerPoints because I need to show a lot of websites. Okay, so I just want to show you their website. So this is a very small company, and they nowadays why we have these drone, and drone drivers is in demand because nowadays a lot of company or I should say real estate industry, they do need someone who can fly the drone and take the pictures of the house, the properties they want to sell. So the founders, student from USC, they just joined together and find this idea. So they just built this platform, and this is a very simple platform, and you can see most of their customers who need the drone driver are from the real estate industry. Okay, and they also have customers who want to hold up some event, and they want to take the video from the sky. Okay, so I think this is a very good idea, and this is another example of some business startup from classroom. And also, oh, one more thing I want to say is this is actually this project is actually selected to compete in the college startup competition. So I think we also have this kind of competition every year, so the college student can join. And okay, so next one, I want to talk about a company called Burgeoned. This is not a tech I should not say this is not an e-commerce or marketplace platform. This is an engineering startup. So this startup is built by my previous advisor who works in chemical engineering. And what they did is they developed some electrolytes. It's made by some membranes, and these membranes can turn water into hydrogen, so they can produce hydrogen at scale. So I also look at their website, and this is their website. They said they can produce green hydrogen at scale, and it's reliable and affordable. You just need to add water. So this is their website. So people who works not in high tech, not in business school, but in engineering, they also have a lot of startups. So this is just one of the startup I want to show also from classroom. And another one, this is called Creative Core. And this is actually from my student. And I was so surprised to see one of my students. He's let me see if he's here. Oh, he's not here today. Yeah, but I asked him also to contact Philip. I think Philip also think this is a great idea. Oh, maybe I should use the slides like this. Okay, so my friend and also student Lannon, he used Python to create some system he called Creative Core, and this system can help high school students learning Python by completing some project, and he has 150 Python projects to complete. And every time he can hold up a session with 15 students to complete some project. And this is just like playing some games. I just saw his video. I think he applied for the startup scholarship at our school. This is like a video clip for that scholarship application. And I think when the first time when he told me this idea, I think this is a really amazing idea. I know a lot of people, they are teaching Pythons, they are teaching some programming language. They are just using some platform to teach, and they teach it to college students. But my student Lannon, he teaches to high school kids, high school students. I think this is a really great idea, and I really hope he can get the scholarship, and I really hope he can expand his ideas. I think this is like a really early stage for his startup. So I don't know. I just want to keep. I just ask him to keep me updated, and I also hope our school, the incubator, can help him through the way. So this is another example I want to talk about, and this is one example of the startup from classroom. Okay, and Lannon learned Python by himself, and also from the class in our college. Okay, so after I talk about some examples of startup from college, from classroom, I want to talk about the code-free tools. So the code-free tools means you don't even need to code. You don't even need to know how to code. And it will become very easy for you to set up your own startup website or anything you want to create. So you don't need funding. You don't need to hire anyone who can do the develop work. And you don't even need to know some coding by yourself. You don't need to have some technical background, because everything is so easy, just like drag and drop. And for some early stage business, you're just by yourself sometimes. You don't even have partners, but you need to show some MVP to demonstrate how your business works. So this is a good tools. I should say this is the series of tools that you should know to help you through that process. And no-code tools are becoming very popular nowadays, especially in recent years. Zapier CEO, so Zapier is one of the tools I want to introduce today. So the CEO from Zapier says, knowing how to code should not be a prerequisite for starting a business. And this is why the no-code movement is so exciting nowadays. And the tools like Bubble, so Bubble is one of the tools I want to introduce today. And so tools like Bubble, they open the gate to entrepreneurship and enable more makers. And Zapier is the other tools I want to introduce today. So Bubble and Zapier and all the other tools, they can help us to open the gate to the entrepreneurship and make startup easier. Okay, so I want to start an idea with an e-commerce business, because this is the easiest one. And when you have an e-commerce idea, selling something online, you have two choices. One of the choice is list something, just like myself in the old days, I listed on eBay or Amazon. However, if you do that, you have some pros and cons. It's easy to start, easy to manage, and a lot of people are already trust this platform. So they usually go to Amazon and search for something they like. There's already some established trust between the customer base. However, this is a saturated market. A lot of people are selling same thing or similar things. It's very hard for yourself to market. And usually if you sell on eBay or Amazon, the platform side the buyers more. So when there's any dispute, they will help the buyers, not the sellers. So you will feel very sad when sometimes you meet some buyers that is really disgusting. So this is some marketplace. Or you can go to Shopify or BigCommerce. So Shopify is the most popular online web store builder, and they also host your website. So you can build your own shop website using Shopify. And Shopify is a Canadian company, but it's the most successful one. And in US, we also have big commerce. So with Shopify, you can do product acquisition. You can send emails with back and forth from your customers. You can do fulfillment and manage the customer reviews and manage the search engine optimization and social media advertising. So a lot of things can be managed by Shopify through the third-party apps. I think the only counts is you need to spend some time to set up the Shopify web store, but it's very easy to set up compared to the tools I introduced later, like Bubble or Webflow. Shopify is easier because Shopify is only for e-commerce. You sell something there. It's very easy. So I also want to show you the Shopify website. And let me just start from the beginning. So it's very to use. And now they also have the free trials. So previously they don't have this kind of free trials because now they have some competitors like big commerce. So they want to do some promotions. So they have this kind of try it for free or no credit card required. So you can just try to set up your store by yourself. And Shopify also offer you a lot of template. So you can have different kind of stores. It already have the template there. You only need to edit the template. So it makes setting up the website so easier. You don't need to start from the scratch. And as I said, Shopify is everywhere nowadays. So it's all over the world. So in 175 countries, and there's a $200 billion US business on Shopify. And if you look at the stock price of Shopify, it just goes 10 times higher since it started, I think, in 2 years. So this is a really good company. And if you only want to go for e-commerce, I first recommend you to use eBay and Amazon to have your listing there. But I also recommend you to have Shopify, and you can use both at the same time. So this is my recommendation for the e-commerce. And the next thing is, if you won't go for e-commerce, you just want to set up some platform. For example, you want to set up some platform just like Drone MVP. You want to have some platform like DoorDash, or you want to have some platform like Airbnb or Uber, where you need your customers to see what are the services there, but you also need some service providers goes to this website to provide services. This is not just business from B2C or B2B. You actually need to manage a platform with two-sided market. So at this time, you cannot use Shopify. You need to use some web design or hosting tools. And one of the tools I want to talk about is called Bubble. And this Bubble thing can help you create your own website and also create your own web apps. And they have step-by-step navigations throughout the way. And after you finish, you can host the app by them. They can host the app for you. So you don't need to worry about scaling your business later. So I just want to show you what Bubble can do. So this is the showcase by Bubble. And for example, you not this one. Okay. So I just launched a website created by Bubble. It's not launching. launch the site. Oh, it just takes time. Yeah, I already have it here. Yeah, I actually already have it here. So this website is created by Bubble. So it is so fancy. You can insert a lot of photos, videos, and a lot of things here. And this website actually clone Airbnb. So it offers the rooms, the private bedrooms, and you can request for rent, and you can check all the homes it offers. And if you are a property owner, you can also contact them. So it's like a two-sided market, just like Airbnb. So it can help you create something like this. When you are just a startup, you don't have a lot of listings here. So it's very easy to manage. And when you create Bubble website, okay, so you can also look at other websites Bubble can create. And maybe you can find some of the websites you are currently using are actually created by Bubble. So like this one, if I launch the website, you can see their website looks really good and it's very clear. And these websites can also become apps on the cell phones. And when you start Bubble, it's also very easy. So you can just start your own app here. So this is the home. So I already log in and it's free. So it's free to set up your own website. Okay. But after you launch your website, or if you need some other apps to combine with Bubble, you maybe need to pay something. Okay. So there's the pricing, and they provide limited service, free services. Okay. But you are free to learn and build your own website through Bubble. Okay, let me just go back here. And it's very easy to start. So as you can see, I already tried to start with 2 projects. You can just, when you start, you can just click new app. Because as I told you, Bubble can create websites and also web apps. So it's actually start from web apps. Okay, so you can have your name, like I just put CSUF startup, and it will ask you what kind of business are you going to do. So if I want a marketplace, I just choose. Okay, so you can only have names like this. Okay, and you are facing the external or internal market, and you can also give some details about the project, and you can just click create a new app. So it's a little slow. I click, but it didn't turn. Oh, here, I forgot to answer this question. So what is the goal with this application? So I just want to start a business. And then I click. You will see the interface of setting up your own website. Okay, so you can use the assistant, but I just want to show you how it looks like. So you have a design tab, and you have the workflow tab, you have the data tab, you have the style and some other tabs. So first you need to design. And when you answer the questions by setting up this project, Bubble already gave you some template. So you can just edit the template. So something like this, you can drag it here and there. And if you need more buttons, you can just drag it here and edit. And when you edit, you can also edit the workflow. So that means what you want to happen after someone clicks this button. And it has a lot of UI elements, and if it is like a Airbnb or something, you need a date picker, and it already has the date picker here. And if you need a GPS service, you can just connect your own GPS API key with the map here. And you can also have a search box. So basically what it's offering here, you can just drag them to the website, or I should not say website, I should say web apps. So people using cell phones can see this app, okay? And I really like one of the options it offers called preview. So after you make some changes or modification, you can just click on the preview. After you click, you can see how your app look like. So it just took a few seconds. Usually it's fast. Like, I don't know, usually it's very fast, so you can see how your app look like in just a few seconds, but today it took longer time. Probably I should try it again. Yeah, so it's fast. So this is how your app should look like. So I just add one more button here. So I didn't edit the workflow. So after I clicked, it didn't show me anything. And for this one, it's from the template. After you click, it will show you the rest of the page. So, and like these ones, you have the drop down options and you have these date collections. So maybe from what I show you here, you still think this is very hard, but don't worry. Bubble has very good courses. Let me just go to the previous. So Bubble today is a little slow. I don't know if it is because of my internet connection or because when I use it the other day, it's very fast. So let me just click here. Maybe it's, yeah, so it's a little faster here. Okay. So for, I need to go to my apps. Okay. So don't worry. If you think what I just showed you, the interface is very complicated, don't worry about that. They gave you a lot of classes to take. And these classes are very easy. So like this one, starting a lesson. So after you click starting a lesson, Bubble can give you step-by-step instructions. I think it's just today, Bubble is a little slow because when I click start, when I click start, it didn't goes away. It didn't goes away. Yeah, so it just showed, I think building the input form. So it asks you to draw an input and a button and let users submit new locations. So you can just draw this button and input cells and click next. Next, it just asks you to scroll down. So there's a arrow here pointing, you need to scroll down and find search box. So find search box and then put it here. And then you need to edit. So you need to type the address or something. So this is like really hands-on experience for you to create something. And Bubble offers a lot of things. So I think I just click on saving data, but it offers a lot of different classes. Sometimes it's just a few minutes class. You just click the Academy. You can see many interactive lessons like saving the data and building a sign-up system and saving and modifying data. So a lot of lessons, it's just like 4 minutes. Okay, so that means you can get a lot of help from Bubble. Okay. So I don't know how you feel about the website setting up process. My guess is if you already have some experience working with Shopify or even with Amazon or eBay, you feel this is like medium. The difficult level is like medium. However, if you don't have any experience before, maybe you feel this is still very hard. Okay, so if you still feel this is hard, don't worry, because we have another tool called Webflow. Okay, so Webflow is similar to Bubble, and if I want to make a comparison between Webflow and Bubble, we can say Bubble is like the Microsoft of no code, and Webflow is like the Apple of no code. And I think the only tiny difference is Webflow can only create website, but I think as their business goals, they will also later in the future, they will also enable us to create some web apps as well. So since we call Webflow the Apple of no code, that means Webflow will focus on the design and simplicity. So it makes building the website easier than Bubble. And Bubble is like Microsoft. So Bubble actually focuses on the function and flexibility of the website or the web app you created. And it has the front end and back end, and you can launch and host your website. And actually Webflow, previously you cannot host your website through Webflow, but now I see nowadays they just open the hosting as service as well. And for Webflow, it's easier. That's why we usually say the Bubble has a steeper learning curve, but it offers you more flexibility and more possibilities. So if I show you the Webflow, it's like this. So this is their showcase. You can also see the website created by using Webflow. And nowadays, a lot of small startups are created by Webflow. So Webflow is easier and it has more audiences. And with Webflow, you can also use their template. It has more templates than Bubble, and it's easier than Bubble. Okay, but if you look at how you set up your website, it will be similar. You just drag and drop. Okay, so I can show this a little larger. So you can just drag and drop certain elements to your website when you design it. Okay, and of course, I think the easiest way is to start with some template, so it will be easier. You can just modify the template. Okay, so this is web design and hosting tools, Bubble and Webflow. And you may also hear other tools. So when I do the research online, I also find many other tools like Adalo, like WordPress. So WordPress can also be used to create your own website for startup. I used WordPress for blog many years ago, but you can also use that for setting up your own web page of your startup. Okay, so the next tool I want to introduce is called Zapier. So Zapier is the automation service that provides you to work as the back end, and it will allow you to connect the apps together, different apps together. For example, it can collect the request from the site, for example, in Google Sheet, and post the message on Twitter or somewhere else. And it can also integrate some shipping station to automate printing shipping labels on your own website. And it just gives you some service where you need a trigger, then you need to do something between different apps. And Webflow actually used this Zapier to connect Webflow with a lot of apps we will talk about later. So it connects Webflow with TypeForm. TypeForm is the survey tools, and it connects Webflow with Survey Monkeys, and it connects Webflow with the Airtable, and it connects Airflow with the Stripe, which takes the payment. So it can manage a lot of things, but you just need to tell Zapier a trigger, like if I receive a new message, you need to forward this message to someone, or if you receive email, you should record it to some database like Airtable somewhere. So you just tell Zapier what you need to do. Then Zapier can connect to apps. So Zapier nowadays, it also offers you some free services. And if you only have a very small startup, I think this is okay. So you can perform up to 100 tasks per month. And every time when you do it at any given time, it's up to 5 tasks. And I want to show you how it looks like. It's like this. Oh, but you need to sign up. I think I already signed it up. So it just tells you can integrate some like TypeForm to Bubble or to Webflow. And you can also automate the connections between TypeForm and Airtable. So this is for TypeForm, and this is the icon for Airtable. And it can also connect you with Slack. It can connect you with a lot of things. So this is one example it shows you. So when you get a new email, then the action that triggers Zapier to take the action, and the action is copy the attachment from the Gmail to Dropbox. And once you do that, it will trigger Zapier to do another thing, that is alert you in Slack about the new files in the Dropbox. So you just connect different apps with Zapier. Okay, so it can connect many different apps together. Okay, so a lot of companies are using this Zapier. Okay, so this is another tools, and you also have a lot of alternatives like Integromate and Automate and Microsoft Flow. So all those tools can help you manage your workflow and manage the connections between different apps, your apps or no-code apps that you're using to set up your own startup. The next thing I want to show you is called TypeForm. And TypeForm is a very stylish feedback form and questionnaire that's offered by this no-code company. And if you look at their website, where is it? Yeah. You can see they have very good design. And this is how their questionnaire looks like. It has videos, it has pictures, it is just one question at a page. And it's just talking to you as a friend. So many people like this kind of survey, and many people feel this survey can help them get the good result and more respondent. They can get more response by using this kind of survey tools. So you can see this is how their survey look like. And with Zapier, you can collect what you get from the survey, from the TypeForm, to some database like Airtable. Okay, so and also I want to mention TypeForm also offers you some free plan with limited feature. And as a small startup, I think that's enough for you. Okay, so in the end, actually, you can set up your own startup without paying anything. And you also have some alternatives for this kind of online survey tools. And our school at Cal State Fullerton, we offer Qualtrics. So I don't know if I need to show you where to get the tools. So you just go to our IT department and there's a download of Qualtrics. Oh, you don't need to download nowadays, I think. You just need to register and you can get an account, and it is for free. But that's because our school is paying for it. Okay, so this is not a free tool, but TypeForm, it's a limited free tools. Okay, with limited services. Okay, and you can also have Google Form. That's also a popular survey tools. And you also have Survey Monkey, Survey Sparrow. So all those tools are similar. The next tool I want to talk about is an email marketing tools. So when you want to run a business campaign and onboard some new user, or you want to send some monthly newsletter to keep your customer in the loop, or you want to announce some product promotions every month or every week, you need to send some email to your customers. And Mailchimp is also a free tools that can give you these options. And you can send up to 10,000 monthly email to 2,000 contacts. So as an early startup, I think that's also enough. And Mailchimp can also give you some basic segmentation of your customers and basic templates and some do some simple surveys for you. And I also list some alternatives of doing this email marketing, and you can use ConvertKit and Constant Contact and Sendinblue. So all these tools are similar to Mailchimp. Okay, so I also have the Mailchimp website here. So it just this is a marketing platform that can scales your startup by sending emails. So this is kind of email marketing tools. Okay, but I think all these tools I talk about, their company is even a startup. So they are actually trying to explore more use of their own startup. They are opening more features of their tools. So someday you may see it's not even, it's not just email marketing tools. It may become a marketing tool for everywhere. Okay, and the next one I want to talk about is a spreadsheet-like database. This is called AirTable. And this one is very popular, and it can combine the database at the back end with a spreadsheet-like interface. So this is one of the examples I include here. It shows you how the database look like in Airtable. It is very simple. So usually in the database, you need to learn how to use database, and you need to learn SQL to get information, to request information from the database. However, if you know Airtable, you don't even need to learn all those tools. You can just create your database by yourself, just like using Excel. And in business world, everyone can use Excel. So it becomes so simple. And for Airtable, it also offers you some free features, and your startup at any size can use their free features. But if you need additional storage, maybe you need to pay for them. So I also want to show you the Airtable, and this is their showcase. So this is like their showcase to show you where it is used. So they can be used to create teams and agencies like PR and CRM management, and it can be used for marketing and communications. So you can keep the ad campaigns planning there and event marketing there. And you can also use it for product and user experience. For example, we just click this competitive benchmarking. Okay, so this is the Airtable you can see. I just want to show you the these. So this is the gallery view. Gallery view means you can see all the photos, and I want to show the main view of this Airtable, so you can see all the things that are in this Airtable. So it's very similar to Excel. It's just in Excel you can only enter numbers, usually only numbers, but here you can enter anything. It's a relational database. You can basically enter anything. Like they're comparing different product, like it's camera. So they have the camera from different company and with different models and with different target audience and with different features. So you can see all of them here, listed here. And you can have photos inside here like this. So this is like a very popular tools. And I know there are several companies similar to Airtable. They're just startup. And so one of my friends just go to one of the startup company that makes similar product like Airtable. Okay. And you can also have some alternatives such as Stackbee and Notion. So you can just Google them. They offer similar service like Airtable, but Airtable is the most popular one. So you can definitely start with Airtable. And the next tools I want to talk about is called Stripe. And Stripe is the online payment system. So sometimes as a customer, I don't care about payment because every time I want to purchase something, I just pay it. But for the company, they need to take the payment, and there are a lot of things they need to do about payment. If they don't have this kind of no-code system called Stripe or their counterpart called PayPal or Square, they have to build or coding for their own features of payment. And with Stripe, you can have credit card from different categories like the American Express, MasterCard, Visa, Discover, and you can also have your card from other places. So they just integrate it in one place. And Stripe will take the payment and let your business know whether the card is accepted or not. And during a few seconds or just less than 1 second, it will also test the fraud, whether there's a fraud or not. And after payment, it also sends you invoice. And nowadays, Stripe also creates some virtual or some physical credit card for you. And it can also provide your business some financing, and it can also help you manage your spend. So this is a very popular Stripe. So the headquarters is in San Francisco. I'll show you their website. So the headquarters is in San Francisco, and I think they haven't gone IPO yet, but it's the most popular IPO you can expect this year. And if you open their website, you can see a lot of companies are actually using their payment integrations, like Shopify, like Instacart, like even Amazon. So Amazon have their own payment team, but in recent years, they switched to Stripe. Okay. So there are a lot of things Stripe can do about payment. So nowadays they are the number one. Okay, they are the number one. And although I put some alternatives here, like PayPal or Square, they're actually on a little different market. Like Square, it's not only it manages the online payment, but it also has a lot of market on the in-person payment. It creates its own devices and takes the payment. Okay, so it's a little different. Stripe is the most popular one for taking payments nowadays. Okay, so so I talked about several tools, and I think as a small startup, you really need some of it or all of it. So even if you work for, if you have a traditional startup, traditional engineering startup, you need the website for advertising or branding, and you also need to handle some simple customer inquiries. So you do need like Webflow to build your company website. And then you need something for the advertisement. So I mentioned Wistia for video ad. And you also need to take some payment if you sell online. So Wistia, I just want to show you, Wistia is another tool. And this is a tool to host your video, And this can give you professional level video, can make the video look really nice. So this also have some free features. So you can create some video and then copy and paste some something to your Webflow page. So you can have the website with the video ad. And you can also use Stripe for the payment. So even for traditional engineering startup, you need these no-code tools. And for some online learning startups, for example, my students' Creative Core, they also need to use the Webflow to build the company's website, or maybe Bubble to build the company's website. Then use some tools called Member Stack for account creation. So he may have some student, so the student need to register. So Member Stack manage all the student, or I should say manage all the customers for you automatically. And he can also use Wistia for some video hosting to giving lectures, giving or online tutorials. And for online learning startup, he can also use Google Classroom to collect homework and distribute files. So I don't want to talk about Google Classroom because there are so many tools out there. So I just want to conclude my talk today. I only introduced you some of the tools, but everyone here should know this is a great time for you, because nowadays everyone can build something without paying a huge amount of money or hiring a developer, or even spend years to study the coding by yourself. We can just create something by some code-free tools. And this is really trendy nowadays, and I think it will spread in years to come. And when you start, please always search and compare between different alternatives. I just tell you a few very popular ones, but maybe in 1 year, it's not popular anymore. So just try to do some research before you start. Okay. And in the end, I should say not everything can be built without code. So something very complex has to be built with code, or some big companies, they need, because of some security reasons or other reasons, they really need to build their own apps or own website by themselves. They need coding. But as a startup, I think no code tools are the best. Okay, I think that's pretty much what I want to talk about today. I'm not an expert, as I said. I just let you know there's some tools there. And actually, after I do some research about this talk, I think I should set up my own startup. So I really want to work on some startup, but of course, I need some ideas for that to start my own startup. And also, my other idea is, after I do this, maybe our school should open some courses by teaching students how to use these no-code tools, because I think this is easy. This is time saving. You don't need to like spend years to learn how to code, and that really takes time. So I think this is good. Okay, so maybe I should hand this to Philip. So I just stop sharing.
Great. Thank you so much. This was really good. I learned a lot. So I have a business and I use Shopify and I use MailChimp.
Oh, wow.
I do use those tools, but I was actually looking for an app. And so I'm really glad to hear about Webflow and Bubble and, some of the other things, Zapier. I've heard of the names before, but I didn't know how they worked. And so I thought it was really informative. So thank you. Let's go ahead and open this up to anybody else who has questions. If you have a question, you can unmute yourself or you can write in the chat window. You gave everybody all the information, and now,
yeah. And this is very basic information, because for every tools you really need to explore by yourself all the options. And I'm happy because all the tools I introduced today, they have free features. So you can just set up your own account and try to explore and set up some very easy MVP for your own business.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so
I may have a question if you don't mind.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a very interesting subject. Thank you very much. The question is, where can I find some use cases about how to use these tools? I mean, there's always many tools, and there are more than even what you show now. And
yes.
So how to use it, because sometimes too much is you get confused. What are features? What to use it? How to integrate it in a successful operational plan?
I think for me, if I want to start my own startup website, I want to search and I want to use the one that most people use, because that might be the best tools. And I also will Google for the difference between different apps, and use the one that most satisfy my own startup. If it's like if I only need a very simple web page, I don't even need to use Webflow, or I don't even need to use Bubble. I can use a tool called Dalo that can create a very simple web page for you. So I think for now, I think we can only ask Google to compare between different apps. And we should do this because things are changing and more apps are coming out, and maybe better tools are coming out as well. So we also need to keep it updated with all the tools.
So how you compare these tools compared with, for example, Wix or Square App or Weebly? How do you compare these?
Oh, actually, when I search for Bubble and Webflow, I also saw what you talked about, like Wix, like Squarespace, and WordPress. I think for those tools, they have some limitations on the template, and you don't have a lot of options. Like I mentioned, a lot of tools connected by Zapier, like the AirTable, the TypeForm service. If you're using those like Wix or WordPress, it doesn't have the connections between them. But if you use Bubble or Webflow to create your website, you have more options. You can use more tools, but that really depending on how complex is your website and how do you use your website. If you just use it for advertising and some simple customer management, you don't need those features. But if you need to build a website like a marketplace, like hosting, Airbnb, Uber, something like that, then you do need some complex features.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for asking questions. Thank you.
We have time for other questions.
Yeah, any other question? Yeah, I'm also learning this. But after I do some research, I feel this is really exciting. Although for each tools, it's by itself, it's even complicated. You really need to spend some time to figure out how to do this, how to do that. But I think after you figure out, it's not that hard. It's not that hard.
Right. It's not terribly hard. I think
terribly
it's the time, just sitting down and learning. And it's good to learn before starting the business, because once you start the business, you get kind of busy with a lot of things,
Yes.
and it's a little bit hard to allocate the time.
Yes.
So yeah, and I will admit too, I started out actually very. I think I started with Google. It was some other website. It slipped my mind right now. But anyway, it's a very easy, basic tool, free. And then the website transitioned over to Squarespace, and then it transitioned to Shopify. And it needed to transition for various reasons, but mainly, to handle like different apps and integrations. And as you grow your business, you'll grow in complexity as well, and more integrations. And so anyway, it's always an evolution.
Yeah.
And as you grow your business, you might just, as Ting mentioned, you might move into a whole different industry. And so that's also something to kind of pay attention to. And anyway, I learned a ton, and again, happy to also chat with anybody else who wants to start a business or bounce ideas or anything of that sort. I did put my contact information, well, actually my schedule, my Calendly. I use a code-free tool for scheduling appointments. My Calendly in the chat window, and I'm always happy to just chat with someone 30 minutes, and I'm pretty sure I can provide value and help you with some more guidance that way.
Yeah, this is nice. Yeah, so code-free tools is not only for startup, for business, it can also for our own manage our daily life and work. Yeah, it's really nice to know all of them. So yeah, so I think my purpose today is just try to bring these to your attention so it's available there.
Yeah, and you did a great job. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Philip, for organizing this.
Absolutely.
You. Yeah.
Absolutely. And Ting, we need to talk more about your startup.
Yeah, I really want to. It's good now. I'm in this community now. So I think maybe, in years to come, I may have my own startup. And usually when I see people using no-code tools, they have startup after startup. So they have many startups.
Right. It is a career path. Once you learn a little bit about entrepreneurship, then it becomes the main focus to start other businesses. And usually I advise people to follow their passion, because there is quite a bit of work that goes into it. And you probably should know something about that business before getting into it. For example, it probably doesn't make sense for someone who doesn't know anything about accounting to start up an accounting firm. You should actually kind of know it and then grow it, and then teach other people, teach other employees, so that way you can expand it. And then really getting into the analytics is really important, because when you can really have a systematized procedure for growing revenue, then you can actually really grow the business, and maybe even franchise it from that point. So there's a lot more to it. I'm super oversimplifying it, but obviously follow your passion, and definitely leverage these code-free tools, and just start. That's the best advice I can give. And of course, surround yourself with mentors, which is what we provide. Yeah.
I really hope I can see how my student learn and start with his startup, the creative core. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, he's quite ahead of things, and I just speak with him. He's doing great. Actually, I got another call to follow up with him on. So excellent. All right. Any other questions here from anybody else? Okay. Thank you everyone who attended.
Thank you, Philip, so much. Thank you so much for organizing this. Thank you.
Wonderful. All right. All right, everyone.
Yeah.
Take
Bye,
care.
everyone. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.